in defense of my penis. So he had to go in and turn everything all Mason. Aren't you aware? Aren't you aware that that tassel represents the Masonic blah, blah, blah? Exclamation point. Guess who? Guess who? It's Uncle Vigilante. How are you? I hope you had a good beginning of the week. We're going to go on a walk through the forest together, see if we can get lost. And I think you're going to like today's show. It's a little shady in here, so little Missy, my camera girl, she's probably going to lose my face a lot, and so it may be a frustrating watch. But you know what? I think you'll deal. I think you'll deal. Come on. Let's go. Which way are we going to go? We're going to go that way? Yeah, maybe we go that way. Maybe instead of just watching me, what we'll do today is just, we'll take a stroll through the woods, and you can see the beautiful scenery, or you can just listen to this. That's probably the better move, because little Missy, let's see, little Missy is going to not get my face. So what I'll do is I'll just take you for a walk, and when I want to make a point, or for those of you who kind of live and die by me giving my exclamation points, you know, the spit exclamation points, well, I won't keep that from you. You know, you need your fix. I get it. But today's going to be kind of fun, I think. I had somebody direct message me and basically say, love it when you go personal and tell war stories. Thanks for the grilling lesson. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, you know what? Maybe the channel doesn't have to be full on crypto. So I started thinking about war stories, and of course, I'm a business guy, and there's lots of war stories in my past. Some of them shan't be told on air, if you know what I mean. I lived through the 80s. But I want to tell you a story. This one is, I think, the all-time best. And it's a story of one of the first companies I worked for. No, it wasn't the first one. I began it when I was in my mid-30s. I'd already had a really good job, and I was recruited to go to this new company. And when I got there, they had a really, really interesting business that required someone like me who had lots of relationships in a specific industry. So I ended up getting that job and started a division of the company that ended up really being the rocket fuel, if you will, for that company being sold to AOL Time Inc. Because my division, we went from a standing start to 125 million in sales in 30 months. So if I said 33 months, there'd be this guy Charles, who now has been banned by my channel, who basically gave me shit when in my video yesterday, I showed a picture of my daughter in her graduation gear from high school, basically just, you know, commenting that I'm proud of her. So he had to go in and turn everything all Mason. Aren't you aware? Aren't you aware that that tassel represents the Masonic blah, blah, blah? I'm like, dude, give me some credit. I'm bragging on my daughter, and she really earned, you know, her degree in this mind-numbing system. And yeah, maybe if I hit the rewind button, maybe my life would be different, and I'd send all my girls, or I'd homeschool all my girls, but I didn't. So the fact she's graduating from high school and she's the fourth of 4 daughters, you know, I think that's something to be celebrated. And look, they may all be brainwashed. I get it. You know, there are, I think, 8,342 reasons not to send your kids to public school. But I did. Hey, if I have 4 more girls, I'll learn from my mistakes. But anyway, I basically said, look, dude, it was a clip of me showing that she graduated from high school. I said, if you take everything down the Masonic route, you're just going to never find any joy. And I said, just give me a break. And he responded back, what do you mean, give me a break? Don't you ever listen to Jeff Berwick? Why don't you listen to him? Give me a break. It was just some real pissy response. And the guy had engaged with me before, and I thought he was, decent guy. Never had an issue with him. But I went back and I looked at some of his comments, and, you know, he's that guy who has that bent, who just has to call out everything through a Masonic lens. And, but when he gave me that last curt response admonishing me, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Ban hammer. So, you know, guys, I am so open to talking about all of that stuff, but have a little bit of tact. Jesus. So anyway, why did I bring him up? I don't know. I guess it was just on my mind. Dude pissed me off. What was I talking about? Doesn't matter right now. Looks like little Missy has been keeping my face, capturing my face, so that's good. Good job. Good job, little Missy. And, hey, before I tell you the story, I do want to let you know that I kind of screwed up. So I've been in my, in my show notes, I have, my Telegram is t.me/Uncle Vigilante. And it's actually /the Uncle Vigilante. So I changed that. So if you have followed Uncle Vigilante, I don't know. Does that get to me? I have no idea. I mean, I have people in my chat, so I don't know. But anyway, you know, search for it again. Go on Telegram and just put in @the Uncle Vigilante, all one word, and you'll find a crypto home there. So, yeah, way back when I started this division, we ended up going from 0 to, to 130 million in sales in 30 months, 125 million in 30 months. That was where I was. That's where I was thinking 33 and this Charles dude. So it's 30. But I'm sure that you can add that number with something else I said and come up with some gematria that'll surely suggest that I am just a paid shill because you pay so much for your subscription to the Uncle Vigilante show. And I'm sure somewhere in these woods there's a checkerboard carpet or something, flooring. So sales, you know, not just me, a group of awesome team members and we just hit it out of the park on this business. And it really became the division that was kind of responsible for attracting the eye of our buyer because we'd grown so fast and there was just still lots of room to run. So our business was acquired by AOL Time Inc. And it was just kind of a time of celebration. Everyone's in a good mood and such. And so I ended up, well, let me just tell you that I became the first victim of corporate social justice convergence, aka corporate cancer. For any of you bears out there, you know Vox Day. He wrote the book on it, Corporate Cancer. everyone should go to Amazon and buy that book. If you are in a corporation or if you run an organization, how to cut out corporate cancer that's going to surely destroy your company. So for those unaware, convergence describes the degree to which an organization prioritizes social justice. So it's where the workforce looks for opportunities to claim being butthurt by victimhood. These are the virtue signaling pussies within an organization who have HR on their speed dial. These are the ones who, if they received an email with the subject line being, "In defense of my penis," well, they would become demon-possessed zombies intent on taking scalps. Well, do I have a story for you? As you know, by the title of this show, it says just that, "In defense of my penis." So I'm just going to let you know that you're going to get a little bit of Uncle Vigilante wisdom that's been earned over the years, but I have to tee it up. And I basically wrote what I thought would be a book, but I never published it. Probably should. But yeah, I became a victim of my penis. You heard that right. I became a victim of my penis. So you better just continue to listen. All right. Let me just read to you the opening page of my book. It says, all right, I'm going to get over here in the shade, and I am going to go like this, so you have a little bit of sunshine. All right. Exclamation point. All right. There we go. Come on, Missy. Come on. There we go. All right. Anyone reading this deserves a bit of context. The CEO of the company I work for called my cell phone on a crisp, sunny Friday afternoon. It was an odd call, extremely out of the blue. Post-conversation, it was apparent that he had way too much time on his hands that day. Well, he should have. The guy just, banked $1 billion. He quickly shared, "Todd, I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Not sexually, of course. The fact is, you're a high achiever. And I've been wondering, what makes you tick? What drives you? Where do you get all your energy, passion, and chutzpah? Chutzpah." He's a Jewish guy. And he paused, and I listened. And I was hoping for a verbal clue that would further guide me to where the conversation was heading. In vintage form, Michael is his name. He didn't take long to take the inquiry to places no man has gone before. He continued, "I think I have you figured out. I think I understand why you're such an effective salesperson. I have a theory that I believe is truth in its purest form, and I'm hoping you'll honestly answer a question for me." So I was certainly interested in his theory. Truth in its purest form. That was interesting. So I shared that I'd happily answer any question that he wanted to throw my way to validate said theories and truths. His question: "Do you have a small penis?" I am so glad I am out in the middle of nowhere and that there's no one hiking in my woods. So I paused and I thoughtfully responded, "Michael, the truth? The truth? You can't handle the truth." It felt good to play Jack Nicholson, even if it was for a moment. So hours later, now I was in Manhattan on my way to LaGuardia when I got that phone call, flying back to Tampa. So hours later, when I was flying back home, I did a little self-introspection and decided to jot down a few thoughts pertaining to what makes me tick. One thought led to another, and before I knew it, I had several pages of random thoughts, just from the top of my head. heart, and gut. It was purely a stream of consciousness exercise. It was kind of like a God moment, honestly. The majority of the thoughts that follow are original, and those that aren't feel like they are because they've been so ingrained into my psyche. As my collection has evolved, many are borrowed from dear friends and colleagues, of which I do my best to give proper credit. The following Monday morning, I emailed my inquisitive CEO and illustrious leader the product of my contemplation, with the subject line simply titled, "In Defense of My Penis." Well, here goes the defense in alphabetical order. And then I began with accountability. I just started going in alphabetical order. And what came to mind, now understand, what I did was I just started writing down these one-liners that popped in my head. And then afterwards, I went back and I organized them and decided which bucket they're on. So what I'm going to share with you today is just the first 6 pages of what I wrote down. There's probably 50 pages in total. The initial round was about 10 pages that I sent to him. Then it's just kind of grown. But these are just kind of Uncle Vigilante's words of wisdom. And before I go through it, I'll just let you know that Michael loved it. He was so impressed, he sent it to the senior executive team internally. And our CFO laughed and felt this, he thought it was great. Now, this is back in the day, guys, where there was no such thing as what we know to be SJWs, causing corporate cancer, to where they have to get butthurt about everything, and you have to be so careful about what you say and what you do. And it's really kind of walking through landmines in corporate America, because a lot of people are looking to, if you tell a joke that someone might not appreciate. It just used to be fun way back in the day. It used to be fun where you could send an email like this, and it was kind of back when email was just first beginning. You could send an email and you wouldn't have these issues with HR and such. So Doug, the CFO, he ended up attaching this and sending an all staff, with it just being Michael's email saying, "This is great," and Doug just forwarded it to an all staff. So it went beyond the senior executive group of about probably 10 people. And boy, oh boy, did that cause a shitstorm. There were comments like, "What if I would have written in defense of my vagina? Would you think that's great too?" Etc. So people could not get past the subject line to actually appreciate the content. And that's okay. I don't care. But Doug and I and Michael, we had to go through what I think would probably be corporate America's first HR-sponsored, what do you call it? get out of hell free card, to where you have to go through and take classes so that you're more sensitive. So that's what this is all about. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to start with accountability, which is die by your deliverables. Again, these are just random. Some of these might appeal to you, some of them might not. I'm just the messenger today, and you're going to go for a walk with me, and we're going to go down the Indian. I think I'm going to go left. Because that's, I think, the hard trail. We'll see, guys. But anyway, the next subject is achievement. Do more than most, better than most, in a shorter period of time than most. This one I like a lot. It's embrace managed aggressive ignorance. So think about that. Managed aggressive ignorance. Embrace it. It puts you in a unique position of not knowing what you can't do. So that one you have to meditate on a little bit, guys. But once you do, I promise it'll make sense to you. Another one, don't accept someone else's definition of what's possible. I think that's good. That's tried and true. This is so true. Hire achievers who despise failure. When I'm hiring someone, I look for someone who is a winner and that I can tell just hates to frickin' lose. Being proactive is much less expensive than being reactive. Think about that in your own life. Usually when we are reactive, somehow it costs us money. Some of us, maybe even 50% of our net worth. Being proactive, I already did that. You get what you put in and people get what they deserve. I think that holds true. By the way, if you like any of these, down below in the comments, just share. And I will tell you, this is going to be maybe the first and last installment, unless you guys tell me you like it. If you like it, I have a bunch more pages, and I can create some additional videos to where I go through the whole darn book. In Defense of My Penis, Part 1. If there's a Part 2, that depends on you. Rhymes. That rhymes. All right, under achievement. Achievement begins with the question, if it could be done, how would you do it? I love that. I have lived by that. Not looking for problems, guys. I'm looking for solutions. And so if you just modify your mindset and you just think, okay, if it could be done, how would we do it, guys? Let's whiteboard this. Let's war game it. Achievement traditionally follows individuals who don't know any way but forward. Think about the people who've been high achievers in your life. They're like zombies, man. You can shoot them, you can kill them, but they get back up. Oh my gosh. That might make the opening clip. All right, another header is action. Bold takes initiative. Bold takes initiative. I'm a guy who likes to distill things down to a few words. And that one you can pray on as well. Advice. I love this one. Seek out the opinion of others. However, recognize that some people never let facts get in the way of a good opinion. We just went through 2020, guys. So if that doesn't ring true, you haven't been paying attention. Aim. I like this one. Those aiming at nothing are sure to hit it. What do I think? I think what's possible. I've used that often when asked my opinion. Hey, what do you think? I'm like, well, I think what's possible. Let's unpack that. Long-range goals keep you from being frustrated by short-term failures. Crypto, anyone? Anyone been in crypto for more than a minute? Think about that, how that applies to crypto and hodling. Long-range goals keep you from being frustrated by short-term failures. It's a bumpy ride up, guys. Hindsight isn't 20/20. It simply informs you that you're adept at being dumb. That one's good. Hindsight just informs you that you are rather adept at being dumb. Ambition. You like this. Don't become so enthralled with the thrill of the chase that you lose sight of the consequences of the catch. That one cost me 50% of my net worth. You can use your imagination. What costs people 50% of their net worth usually? Yeah. Sorry. Don't become so enthralled with the thrill of the chase. What are we chasing? That you lose sight of the consequences of the catch. Ouch. Constantly reinforce your beliefs and ambitions. That's important. You got to reinforce them. Otherwise, you become programmed like the NPCs. So, you know, we have to stand firm, all of us together, to just constantly reinforce our beliefs, our values, and our ambitions. Arrogance. Don't you just hate people who are aggressively arrogant and they don't even know it? Man, there are a few personalities that I just have to check myself out of the relationship, no matter what the cost. One is absolutely people who don't actively listen. Instead, what they do is they listen so that they can, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That reminds me of, and then they say something about them to where they just try to like say, oh, I'll call your ex and raise it a Y. I can't stand those kind of people. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I mean, they're toxic to me. So I don't put up with it. Where were we? Ambition. Okay. Nope. Arrogance. Arrogance provides great insurance that you'll lose any meaningful relationships you probably don't really have. I'll read that one again. Arrogance provides great insurance that you'll lose any meaningful relationships you probably really don't have. So that's a word to the wise for you arrogant fucks out there. No one likes you. No one. Not your wife, not your kids, not your employees, not your colleagues, not your priest. No one likes you. If you're an arrogant fuck, you are not invited to Uncle Vigilante's little kids round table for Thanksgiving dinner. All right. Nature never intended us to pat ourselves on the back. If she had, our hinges would be different. Right? Just when you think you are, yeah, you aren't. That's another one for the arrogant. Aspirations. I'd rather have a little of a lot versus a lot. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. I'd rather have a little of a lot versus a lot of a little. I'd rather have a little of a lot versus a lot of a little. And I learned that. From my boss, who, with any business model we pursue, he wants to go narrow and deep. And he's just fine being able to create a business where you just get a little bit. Think of a credit card issuer, right? They have a business model and they pay for all of those commercials based upon that merchant processing fee of anywhere from, 1.5% to 3% that the merchants pay. If you pay something for $100, they have to pay the credit card issuers, let's say 3%. So that's a little of a lot. A little of every transaction. Those are the best models. This I can tell you. All right. Excuse me. Attitude. Attitudes are infectious. A question often not asked to oneself is, how's mine infecting others? So attitudes are infectious. That's a claim, a true one. And a question is, that we don't often ask is, how's my attitude infecting others? Authority. Authority is a poor substitute for leadership. You've all had those bosses who get a little bit of power and they just don't know what to do with it, and they just think that they have this uber authority. They end up failing, all of them, just failing, because nobody's going to follow a douchebag. There's just as much authority in a family today as there ever was. Only now our kids exercise it. Keep in mind, this was written back in the early 2000s. And, man, through the 90s, kids were spoiled, man, because everyone had so much money. Way more money per capita than they do now. Boars, not wild boars, like are in these woods. I'm talking about people that just bore the hell out of you, right? Here's one. I describe the person I can't stand that says, yeah, enough about, you talk, or me talking about me. How about you talk about me? So that's a person who's me deep in conversation. He is me deep in conversation. I've given that. Somebody will say, how was the dinner? Yeah, well, client was me deep in conversation. And my boss would say, oh, good. You know how to handle those people. I imagine they really enjoyed the dinner. I'm like, absolutely. Got a big order from them. I like people who are me deep in conversation because it's easy to manage that relationship, because all you have to do is ask questions about them. And they are happy to comply with answers. He brings happiness whenever he goes. How was your dinner last night? Oh, well, Richie, this guy, he brings happiness whenever he goes, whenever he hits the outdoor. I spent a week with him one afternoon. That's a good one. I didn't make that one up. Most of these that I printed out are original. I had a lot more in the first pages, but just because like I'd have other people who gave me little words of wisdom over the years, because after the initial 10 pages, I just kept adding to it. And so when I would hear something from somebody, I would note it, I would enter it in its appropriate category, and I would give them credit, who it was. Or if it was someone famous, I would note that. I mean, I had quotes from Abraham Lincoln, just ones that made sense that I think would be good for. I always thought in terms of how can I create something that when my daughters read it, when they're old enough to understand it, that they would benefit from it. Just life lessons, if you will. Character. No, let's go to bosses. We'll stay in the bees. Fuck. Speaking of bees, one's buzzing around me. Bosses. Hire your boss. If you can, man. Again, it was a different world back then, guys. It's like if you were smart and good, you'd come out of college and you'd have just a ton of offers. So I recognize it's not so easy. All right, this is just. I think I'm turned around. This says Indian, but I thought I've already. Oh well. Okay, I'm officially lost, guys. And I like that. Okay, bosses, we talked about that. Character. Life for some people is to sow wild oats during the week and then go to church Sunday and pray for crop failure. Boy, that was the 80s for me. Life for... I already talked about that. Children. I have a few. I have been abundantly blessed with lots of estrogen. So, valedictorians eat dinner with their parents. Not many valedictorians out there these days. Failure is not telling your children, I love you every opportunity you can. I truly believe that. I tell my kids and my wife, I love you. I mean, literally, all day long. Whenever I'll ask a question. Hey, what are you going downstairs for, honey? Get some milk. Okay, love you. Love you. That's conversation in the Uncle Vigilante household. Take a look at yourself through the eyes of your young child. You'll find comfort in the absence of expectation. Man, I wrote that because my little Alex Binky, she was 4 years old at the time. And I had a yacht at a marina. And my other daughter and my ex-wife could not stand the waves and stuff. So what happened is little Alex and me, we would leave for the marina on a Friday afternoon after I'd get back from Manhattan. And that was just basically our fort. We would have, we would stay at dock. I wouldn't take it out because that would be irresponsible to take a big boat out with a 4-year-old. But man, we had the best time. We just had the best time. Just fishing off the dock, catching blowfish. Just there was a bar next door, which back then I was drinking. That was awesome. You just walk to it. They had bands. My daughter had a personality like mine, pretty gregarious. So she'd get up and sing and dance, and everyone loved her. And so take a look at yourself through the eyes of your young child. You'll find comfort in the absence of expectation. The only thing that Alex wanted from me was to hang out with me. And it was so awesome. I fondly recall those days. I will fondly recall those days forever. Make pancakes with your kids once a month. Write their names in batter. We always did that. We wouldn't write the names, but we'd write their letter, A. If you ever have to remove carpeting, let your kids paint all over it first. It'll prove more satisfying than candy. And I wrote that after we had decided to replace our carpet. And I brought home some wild colors of paint. And it was the water soluble paint. So, fuck. Which way do I go? I'm not gonna go down Grandpa. All these different colors, and kids got in their little bikinis, and I just said, go to town. Just make art. You want to put paint on your body and then lay and do a snow angel? Do it. Oh, those were good days. Then my daughter Abby, she came up with this one when she was 6 years old. I give her proper credit. This was so funny. She said, "Dad, if you take your eye off the ball, it will hit you in the head." What? Okay, Abby, good. I encourage that kind of out-of-the-box thinking. That was fun. Collaboration, that's one. People support what they help create. I say that all the time. All the time. That holds true. That's one of the major tenets of business. But I add, people support what they create, and people buy from, oops. Yeah, you got me. And people buy from people they like and trust. That's the other one that kind of goes in that category. But that went under collaboration. Some of you that were just coming here to get crypto, sorry. You don't have to stay. Look, it's the box of chocolates thing I've talked about. Just never know what you're going to get. Plus, I listen to the market. I listen to my people. And if there's things you like, let me know. If there's things you don't like, let me know. And if you want to talk about how my daughter graduating from high school is Masonic, well, you can fuck off. All right, commitment. Have a sense of purpose outside yourself. Wow, that really keeps you between the lines. And I think, frankly, going what I've gone through this last year of recovery from alcohol addiction, I would say that one, man, it's like if you don't have a sense of purpose outside yourself. So I got to thank you guys. Honestly, you give me a sense of purpose. I like this channel. I like doing these walks and talks, and you know what? It keeps me busy, keeps me from self-destructive behaviors, and it gives me a purpose outside of myself. It doesn't have to be a world-changing purpose, but those of us who can't find a purpose, you're just trying to fill that, well, they call it the God-shaped hole in your heart. You'll just look for anything to kind of escape from yourself. And because I don't know about you, but it's been times in my life where, you know, I just don't like hanging around in my own head. Totally lost. All right, this says Piglet. I've never been down Piglet, so we're gonna do Piglet, guys. I don't know if that means there's some wild boars down here, or little boars, but that's where we're gonna go. That's where we're gonna go. Hello, Missy. All right, where were we? Can someone tell me? Have a sense of purpose outside of yourself. Commitment. Commitment in the face of conflict produces character. That doesn't sound like one that I came up with just out of my head. Just being honest. Because I want to maintain credibility with you guys. That one I like, though, a lot, but I don't think that I made it up. Commitment to family. Stay committed to your family and never lose sight of what will be lost if you don't. I wrote that. God, I have no idea where I'm going. I wrote that after I lost 50% of my net worth. If you know what I mean. Okay, communication, which is right down my alley. I've always been a very good communicator. First of all, learn to type well. Now, this was back in the days when computers were becoming a thing, and before that, gosh, when I first started my career, it was literally, they weren't the typewriters, but they were basically word processors that were like electronic typewriters. So I learned to type. I went to school to learn how to type, and I can type really fast. Now everyone types with their thumbs, and I don't think, I mean, I don't know. I find I use my cell phone more than I use my computer. All right, communication. Give good phone. Again, I guess these days it's give good text. People don't talk anymore on the phone much. So it shows you this is a little dated, but I'll keep it in. Always engage in discussions of possibilities. That's how you win in life. You engage in discussions of possibilities, not impossibilities. Because if you're focused on the impossible, then you're just going to be a piece of shit. Honestly. It's like, I don't want to hang out with you. You're a dark cloud. Don't be a dark cloud, Charles. You don't have to bring Masonic talk into every frickin', conversation. I mean, I took care of Gerald. I'm going to take care of you too, Charles. Just don't piss Uncle Vigilante off. It's just not necessary. Always engage in discussions of possibilities. Okay. Oh, I don't know who this is. Fuck. You go away. I'm not gonna answer that spam call. Context. Now this one's a little deep, and I did write this. Context drives persuasive communication. Without it, people will smile, nod, and forget. I talk about this all the time without talking about it. It's why I have to think in pictures. I have to have context. I know why they call this Piglet. Look at that, guys. See all these small, low-to-the-ground plants? This is where the wild boars hang out and hide. So, hey, wish me well. It is pretty back here. I do like it. I do like it. It's so shady. It's a beautiful day. So context drives persuasive communication. So it's just so true, man. If you want to be persuasive in your communication, you have to be able to ground what you're trying to communicate. And you have to anchor it. And many times that's by drawing an analogy, or speaking in pictures, or saying it's like, or it's similar to, and you try to get people to think in your pictures. I just found that to be very helpful. Oh, my next one is speak in pictures. Most people are visual learners. The next one is just 3 words. Tell me less. And I'll give credit to, my boss, co-founder of Priceline.com, his partner, who was the co-founder of Priceline.com, Jay Walker. He was, put it this way, he was on the cover of Forbes magazine, and it said the next Einstein. And guy is just brilliant. I mean, like Mensa, brilliant. Like he was the grand poobah of Mensa. Like nobody's had a higher score. Just brilliant. And he would be so direct in a meeting. He would have somebody and he had just zero patience, and somebody's just going blah, 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 blah. And he'd say, hey, tell me less. So that's a good one. That made my communication. I'll take an efficient cliche over boorish dialogue any day. I like cliches. I know people say, oh, that's cliche. Well, they're cliches because they're effective, man. Because they create instant context. So if you don't like cliches, well, don't use them. And don't communicate. And be a loser. All right? Don't get in the habit of always thinking about what you're going to say next while others are talking. Truly listening to what is being said can help you formulate more effective, targeted responses. Okay, that's kind of easy. Compensation. Income is not entitled, it's earned. Make sure that you're fairly compensated for what you earn. The third one. The compensation of a salesperson is either considered an investment or an expense. Results determine the adjective. Work smart to become the former. So there's no free lunch, folks. If you are lazy, you're going to suck. If you're not smart, you're going to suck. And I don't know about you, but I like people considering me. I like the adjective investment when it comes to Uncle Vigilante instead of an expense. You get rid of expenses. Wow, this is like going deep in here. But I'm not worried because I got out here good enough time. I'm not worried about the sun going down. So if I have to, I don't know. But I'm totally lost. I have no fucking idea where I'm going. No idea. So I guess I'll just get so far and start retracing. But damn, this is pretty. I mean, just look at this back here. I'm sorry, but what a pretty walk. This is stop and smell the boar bushes. I think the cliche goes, right? Is that the right cliche, Charles? You tell me. You tell me. All right, competition. That's important to talk about. If ever in competition with someone else for a job, make the case, you don't need both of us, but you do need me. The other one is, I put it in here because I knew it was going to my boss, and I mean it with every bit of my heart and soul. I'd hate to compete against me. Not rehinging my shoulder and patting myself on the back, but I have a track record, and I'd hate to compete against me. Because I win. I figure shit out, guys. And that's why crypto, if you are new, we're going to figure this shit out together. Why not us? We can. We will. And so, saddle up, baby. Because we're going to win. We're going to win. One thing I am grateful for, dear baby Jesus, is that there are no mosquitoes out here today because it just hasn't rained forever. Do you guys know where I'm going? Seriously, the path is just like almost disappears. Like here's one that looks like it can go right. Yeah, there's a fork. It can go right. Nope, that's left is not a path. That is from wild boars. rooting. Man, I think I'm gonna reverse course and kind of walk back the other way because I'm getting too deep, and I didn't bring any water. So there's gonna be a point in time where I'm gonna be thirsty as all get out, and I want to be a little closer to my automobile. Oh, I'm curious how many of you drop it in the comments. How many of you are still here? Just drop in the comments. I am. Oops, little missy. Come on. Just drop in the comments. I'm here. I'm curious. I think people's attention spans are so tiny these days that if you don't continue to give dopamine hits throughout, they're just going to move on. So a lot of people who began watching this are probably gone, and that's fine. Okay, no, I am on the right trail, and that's just fine, because those of you who are hanging in are the ones that are going to get some truth, and you're going to be smarter, I promise you. All right, competition computers. Back up your hard drive. Oh, this one I have to tell you the story on this. There was the very first computer virus. The very first computer virus was the Melissa virus. And what it said was, "I love you" in the header. All caps, no spaces. Just, "I love you." And it was Melissa. It was basically a document that just said Melissa on it. And so everybody who got that, they clicked on it, of course. You're curious. We didn't know about viruses back in the Stone Age. Everybody's computer got infected. So, and they lost all these files. So under computers, I have back up your hard drive, because Melissa's still a bitch no matter how many times she tells you, "I love you." Plus, she has a virus. So that's where a virus is really, you know, Bill Gates probably created that virus to sell his virus software. Dude plays long ball, you got to give him credit. Oh, how about that, I don't know, some kind of brunchery or something in California that they charge a $5 surcharge for anyone wearing a mask, and a $5 surcharge if they hear anyone bragging about getting the jab. That's awesome. Those are some woke, our kind of woke, not the other kind of woke that you know, got me in trouble because of my defense of my penis. Nope. I like that. That was so cool when I read that today. Conceit. The self-made man always seems to admire his maker. You know those people. The guy who is too deeply in love with himself ought to get a divorce. I think that's true. If you have any of these that are your favorites, let me know. And also, be sure to let me know if you want a part 2 or 3. And I'll plan accordingly. And I'm not leading the witness there. I could give a shit, guys. You know? This is something that I just don't care. If you like it, I'll do more. I'll finish the book, the series. If you don't, let me know that too, and I won't pull out the band hammer. I don't care. I don't care. All I care about in the chat is people being respectful and not being dicks. If you're a dick, you're gone. Just I'm not going to debate with you. It's like, if I discern that you're a dick, you're gone. Poof. Simple as that. All right, confidence. You know, many would say I lack a lot of confidence. Maybe I'm overconfident. Anyway, confidence. Have an opinion. I think that is so important. You know, don't have that fence up your ass. Don't ride that fence. Just have an opinion. If you believe this boogie virus exists, you know, that's your opinion. That's okay. We can work with that. I get it. You're an NPC and you're programmed. It's not your fault. If you believe the boogie virus does not exist, welcome to the little kids table at Thanksgiving. That's where they relegate me, because the adults just can't stand one more conspiracy-related conversation. Come on over, join us. Little kids are way more fun to talk to anyway. They're more open-minded. Bet on yourself. That's another one. Be unconstrained. I love this one. Be unconstrained by precedent. Be unconstrained by precedent. What does that mean? Well, if somebody has done something before and they've failed, well, fuck them. They're just losers. I'm not going to have their loss limit my potential gain. I'm going to do it better. I'm going to win. I'm not going to be a loser. So that's just getting in the right mindset. Be unconstrained by precedent. Self-confidence creates momentum, and momentum breeds momentum. That is always true. Right? And look, I mean, there are many things that I'm not self-confident. That's why I got out of the coin picking business. I have zero confidence in my ability to pick coins that are going to moon, that aren't scams. I just don't know shit, guys. I openly admit it. If you hang in to the end of every video, I will remind you that I don't know shit. All right. Mutual confidence is the pillar of friendship. Mutual confidence is the pillar of friendship. So when you're confident in whomever, think of your best friend, man. You have a lot of confidence in that person, that they'll be there. Most of us don't have more than, if you think about your truly good lifer friends, some of them can't even fill up the first 5 fingers of our left hand. I'm right at 5, including my wife. So not a lot of people around my personal board of directors, but those who are, man, I'd die on their hill. They die on mine. We have mutual confidence. My job is to get you to come to my conclusion. Now, that goes unsaid, of course, but right when you are trying to build something, create something, sell something, isn't that your job? To get people to arrive at your conclusion? I think it is. Otherwise, what? You're probably going to lose. Probably going to be a loser. You don't need to be a loser, because you're not losers. If you're listening to this at this point in time, I can tell you, you are not a loser. You're curious. You like the unexpected. You appreciate organic content, and you're not judgmental, because this isn't such a well-produced show. I'm a one-man show, guys. I am pretty good at video editing just because of my famous dog Zammy. I've had lots of practice over the years, so those of you who, if this may be your first time, go to Zammy Pup on Instagram. He's the world's most famous, I swear to God, that looks like where I came in. Wow. I have to take another stroll. I didn't go where I thought. I'm where I began. I just did a big circle, and I thought I was lost. Jeez. Anyway, Zammy Pup, he's an awesome dog, but I've had to edit lots of videos for him, so I try to make these videos interesting when I can, to kind of create some visual imagery while I'm talking. Cooperation. You can't high five with one hand, man. I've said that to some people who've worked for me, you know, who just haven't been cooperative. You just can't high five with one hand, man. Courage. Challenge conventional wisdom. That takes courage. Anyone can pick the low-hanging fruit. These are these roots that can just mess you up. Have you ever done that? Like being walking, going ho-de-do-de-do, and then you have like a sidewalk to where there's been some settling and one part of it is up, but your body is just going at the pace that it trusts, and then you hit it, and and it's like I just hit this root, and I'm not shitting you, my lower back really hurts. Really hurts right now because it just knocked everything out of whack. Thank you, roots. You're the root of all evil. All right. Anyone can pick the low-hanging fruit. The real talent is going out on a limb to harvest the rest of it. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your boldness with others. That one's about leadership, courage, creativity. Fewer resources forces greater creativity. Fewer resources forces greater creativity. It's always the case. I have worked with big teams to where you have so much resource. And what happens is these teams, they end up around the water cooler. And they're probably about 50% as efficient. Whereas if you're bootstrapping it and you have a team of people who just... sorry, guys. If you have a team of people who, you know, it's like your business is living paycheck to paycheck and they have to contribute and they don't have all the resources in the world, man, that's where the best content comes from. So any of you out there who are, you know, either a one-man show or you're thinking about a business or whatever, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it, because sometimes it's people like you who start things special and end up developing great companies. So I encourage you on that. Fewer resources forces greater creativity. The next one, the reason ideas die quickly in some people's heads is that they can't stand solitary confinement. Meditate on that one. That's so true. Customers, my favorite. Effective salesmanship comes one prospect and one customer at a time. To assume that you will become effective without wearing out the soles of your shoes is to assume that you can become an effective swimmer without getting wet. This was back in the days where I put a lot of miles on, man. A lot of miles, a lot of road miles, selling. You better have a conscience because your customers have a memory. Reputation matters, good people. And if you fuck over your customers, they remember. And usually industries are pretty tight-knit. You know, word gets around. Decision making. Rationalization is nothing more than finding reasons to justify a bad decision. Rationalization is nothing more than finding reasons to justify a bad decision. Life-changing events usually result from a series of small decisions. Right? 50% of my net worth? Oh, never make a major life decision based on fear. Man, there's a story there, but I can't tell it to you. But there's a story there. Delegation. Delegate responsibility, not accountability. That's being a leader. Direction. Testosterone be damned. Stop and ask directions. Used to drive me freaking nuts back when there wasn't GPS. And I'd be driving with a dude who had a map or somebody who they knew the directions and they just wouldn't fucking stop and ask directions. It's like, come on, dude. Grow a brain. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. I think that holds true pretty much. I think that holds true a lot. So, guys, I have one page left. Sorry. Sorry, Charles. I love Gerald, though. Gerald's my man. This is back when I was drinking. All right, honey. You know the drill. You gotta find my face again. All right. Drink. Not drunk with clients. So drink. not drunk with clients. Good one-liner. Driving. It would be better to be a little late down here than a little too early up there. I have 4 daughters, and after my second daughter, my wife determined that I probably shouldn't be the one teaching them to drive. So that probably saved my relationships with daughter number 3 and 4. But this is something I would say back then. It would be better to be a little late down here than a little too early up there. Seatbelts are not for seatbelts are not as confining as wheelchairs, honey. Always try to drive so that your license will expire before you do. Again, those are just dad lessons that I shared with my daughters. Egotism. Ego management is business critical. Managing your clients is an art. Managing your own is a condition of sale. Managing your own ego. One day I'll talk about EQ, emotional quotient. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Probably the most important thing. I'll just tell you real quick. So, emotional quotient is this guy started realizing that all of these Fortune 500 companies were led by CEOs who were C students, and he couldn't figure out why were C students leading these companies? Why weren't the A students? Why weren't the valedictorians leading these companies? And the answer became a different quotient. Everybody focuses on IQ, intelligent quotient, but after he did his studies, he wrote this book called Emotional Quotient, EQ. And if you have high EQ, I believe I have very high EQ, to where I know how I impact others. And so I'll get a read on somebody, and if I find that they're just kind of the shy type, I'll respond differently. If they're a gregarious type, I'll respond differently. And we all do, but there are some people who, let's just call them douchebags, who do not have any EQ. They don't know how they impact other people. They just don't get it. They're just douchebags. And it could be angry people, it could be, but it's just somebody that walks into a crowd and just doesn't have a clue that everybody is judging them because they can tell that you don't have a clue and you're a douchebag. So that person may be of high intelligence, but when you have zero EQ, you're not going to be leading a company. You're probably going to be, and this is no, I'm not even going to say. I was going to say you could probably be in your mom's basement coding, but I love coders too much for that, so that's not a good analogy. But anyway, just Google EQ and be a little smarter. Let's see. Some are hard of hearing, others are hard of listening. Don't be that guy. He's a self-made man who insists on giving everyone the recipe. I love that one. I'll take managed self-effacement over self-absorbed arrogance any day. I'll tell you a story about self-effacement, and you'll get it. So my boss is 5'2". Now you may look at him and you may say, man, ha ha ha, he, that's a short dude. Well, he was an all-American wrestler, so he'll kick your ass. And he's just stocky. But he's awesome. But he is self-effacing, which I'll never forget the presentation we did for the board of directors of Victoria's Secrets. And I first got up to the front and I did my little bit, and then my immediate boss, Rich, he got up and he did his, and then our CEO, Michael, got up, and he gets up and he rolls up his sleeves and he looks around and he says, for those of you who don't know, I did stand up. Everybody started cracking up. He just made fun of himself. So that is a gift. When you can make fun of yourself, man, you can manage situations so much better. So I'll take managed self-effacement over self-absorbed arrogance any day. There's no such thing as a closet asshole. My boss and I, Richie, we've said that a time or two coming out of meetings. Yeah, buddy. No such thing as a closet asshole, is there? Nope. Email. Okay, I didn't edit this. People don't read anymore. Learn to communicate in a Cliff Note-esque way. People do read quick hit emails and usually respond. Don't underestimate the efficiency and effectiveness of the quick hit. Quick hit, non-business emails can shorten the rapport building curve with colleagues, prospects, customers, and business associates. Now, this is all back when email was your only form of communication. So a lot of people would write these War and Peace emails. It's like, just make it brief, man. Review your personal client prospect email distribution lists offline, monthly, and send quick hit emails to as many as possible. So that's one where I would just, as an exercise once a month, I would go through my list, my hit list, and I would just come up with a reason to reach out to them. And it would be about nothing. It would be like a box of chocolates. You never knew what you're going to get when you open an Uncle Vigilante email. You know, it could be something about your favorite football team. Could be just a joke. It could be, you know, hey, what kind of coffee you like? I don't know. Just making shit up right now. But that's, you know, you just have to, people buy from people they like and trust. Don't forward jokes and other bullshit emails to others. If you do, the effectiveness of your quick hit emails will be diluted. You can kind of liken that to today. You know, don't be sending links to all this CV-19 stuff to everyone. I mean, the Uncle Odd discussion group, which is t.me/Uncle Odd's Lounge. That's what it is, Uncle Odd's Lounge. That's where a group of people, they do a lot of research and they post a lot of CV-19 stuff in there. But I'm kind of fatigued of all that, so I don't spend as much time in there. But that's, if you want to be that guy, that's where you can go. But don't disrupt every other Telegram chat with copy and paste COVID-19 shit. Please, especially if you go to @TheUncleVigilante on Telegram, you know, we keep that about crypto. We're not going down the path of talking about the next march in the UK. We get it. Druid Babylonian bastard's bad. I understand. Okay. This is fitting. Endurance. Because I'm tired. Today's mighty oak is simply yesterday's nut that has held its ground. I didn't make that one up. I am 1000% positive, but I love it. Today's mighty oak is simply yesterday's nut that held its ground. I love that, man. Think about that. Hold your ground. Don't be a pussy. Enlightenment. There are only 3 more bullets here, guys. Many times, reality can be a disturbing inconvenience. That makes no sense to me. The 3 basic tenets that will guide you through total and absolute enlightenment. 1, oh, I love this. Work like you don't need the money. 2, love like you've never been hurt. And 3, dance like no one is watching. And I'm gonna finish with that one, because that is a tribute to my good friend Joe Mamano, who is a legend in his own way. I haven't been in contact with him for probably a decade, but that just, I can still hear him saying that. The 3 basic tenets that will guide you through total and absolute enlightenment. Work like you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt before. And 3, dance like no one is watching. So with that, good people, good friends, Gonna love you and leave you. Really appreciate you making my walk shorter, because you give me something to do. You give me a purpose in life, and I appreciate you. I appreciate every one of you. Now, when I say don't take this wrong, when I say I love this channel, it's not because it's my channel. It's just I love this channel. I love the community that's being developed. It just is my happy space. So thank you for being part of it. I appreciate you, and let some other people know we exist. All right, I'll keep saying that. Maybe one day you'll take me up on it. Figure out your contact list and send a link to a person or two. Okay, guys, hit that notification bell, because this week I'm going to be going live with a couple of interviews. So unless you have that notification bell, you're not going to catch it live. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Cheers. Greetings. Greetings. Used to be named Uncle Odd, but now I'm known as Uncle Vigilante. And as you can see by the fact I'm wearing a gold chain with a Bitcoin on it, I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah, I'm a big deal. But there is one thing that my 43 attorneys that I just hired told me that I needed to say, which is a disclaimer. Don't take any of my advice. Don't take anything that I say on this show or any of my guests as sage counsel. Why? Why? Because I don't know shit.